Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Guidewell Insights Lounge. My name is Kate Warnock, and we're here live on location at the Oliver Wyman Health Innovation Summit. I have another distinguished guest with us, Helen Leis. Helen, welcome to the interview.
Thanks, Kate.
Helen is a partner for the Health and Life Science practice at Oliver Wyman. You have had a very busy day, and I know that you've got a lot more work ahead of you, but we've got some great questions for you to answer. So, how come the concept of transforming healthcare from the outside in is so distant from what's happens historically?
Great question, Kate. Historically, healthcare has been a B2B business, so businesses calling on businesses. And when you think about hospitals and physician groups, they were really designed for the convenience of the physicians. And then when you think about health insurance plans, they were really designed to meet their customers' needs, the employers. Right? So no one was really thinking about the consumer or the patient. They were almost an afterthought. So that's part of the reason why it's been so difficult. I spent 10 years in the first part of my consulting career working with consumer goods companies. So the thinking about who is our customer, what do they need, what are their priorities, what are their hassles, is something I was asked to bring into the health and life sciences practice when I moved over 7 or 8 years ago. And I've found that that is a very different way to think about the business model than health plan executives and provider executives have been accustomed to.
Right.
So that change in thinking, I think, is the most difficult part.
Right. But what a wonderful thing that they had the foresight to bring you in because of that experience,
Yes.
because that's exactly the kind of disruption that we're looking to bring to healthcare.
Yep.
Our next question for you, Helen. What can healthcare learn from other industries in terms of how to create a magnetic relationship with the consumer? So you're a perfect person to speak to this.
Sure. So when we think about magnetic offerings, we're looking for 3 different dimensions. The first is the functional. So what's the job that you're going to do for the consumer? What is the hassle you're going to eliminate? What is the problem you're going to solve for them? And anything that you're building in an offering has to cover that first. The second is the emotional element. So it's building that connection, that human empathetic connection with the consumer. And the reason you want to build an emotional connection is 2. One, we found that brands who have emotionally connected consumers do more business. If you have consumers who are highly satisfied, they'll do, let's say, 5x business. If you have consumers who feel emotionally connected to your brand, they'll do twice that. So just in terms of driving more volume and activity into your business model, we think that's a good thing. The other reason you want that emotional connection with consumers is because it gives you permission to fail. So have you heard the Southwest and United Airlines story today?
Oh, Sam, why don't you tell our audience? Sam had that graphic up on the screen today.
Okay.
He did. Mm-hmm.
So United Airlines, when you compare to Southwest, doesn't perform that much worse than Southwest. Southwest still loses bags. Southwest still has canceled flights. But United Airlines has 20 times the amount of customer complaints. Why is that? Southwest has built an emotional connection with their passengers. Southwest CEO is blogging about what's happening behind the scenes. There was a famous story several years ago when the roof of an airplane was sheared off a Southwest airline. Now, normally people would think, I'm never flying Southwest again. One of our Oliver Wyman alumni, like the week before, had taken the role of chief operating officer there. And he and the CEO were out blogging and telling consumers, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, this is the process we're taking, this is why we know you're safe. Right? That gives that emotional connection, that transparency, gives you permission to fail so that consumers are still willing to do business with you. The third piece of what makes really a magnetic business offering is the economics, right? It's economics for you and it's economics for the consumer. And it doesn't always translate into just you've saved them money. If you think about Amazon and Amazon Prime, why do people love it? My kid has a birthday party tomorrow morning and I don't have a gift and it's 10 o'clock at night. I need it here first thing in the morning. So oftentimes the economics or the value that you're creating doesn't have to be dollars. It can be time, it can be access, it can be convenience. Right. And when you take those 3 things together, companies like Apple, before Steve Jobs died, companies like Amazon have mastered that 3 elements of magnetism, the functional, the emotional, and the economic.
So much in that response. Oh my gosh, I think we could unpack it for another hour, but I don't want to take that much of your time.
Sure.
One thing that really resonates, I remember Sam saying this morning on main stage, Sam Glick, one of your partners, was that it's time for the health industry to stop building its economics around its own needs. You have to really focus on the consumer economics. So, so much touching on the points that you just made. Another question for you, Helen.
Sure.
Healthcare isn't exactly exciting or fun. Is it even possible to generate experiences that are going to make consumers happier?
Of course.
Okay.
It is possible.
Let's hear.
Just a few examples. So if you think about your hospital stay, right? My father had knee surgery. He's 83 years old. He had the knee replacement. The nurse practitioner called him the week before and said, Do you like to read in bed? What books do you want to bring with you? Do you have a reading pillow you want to bring, or do you want us to bring a pillow, to have a pillow in place for you? Do you have a playlist that you like to listen to? Now, my father is 83. He does not have an iPod. He doesn't have a CD player. He has 6-foot speakers. So that one didn't quite work for him. But it was very much like, what can we do to give you points of control in an otherwise negative experience?
How about that?
What can we do to allay anxieties and set expectations so you know what's going to happen? In one of the executive sessions this morning, we had a great dialogue with a gentleman from a children's hospital who said, how do I make people look forward to getting shots? Okay, you can't, no kid is going to look forward to getting shots, but you can build things around it. You can eliminate fear. You can put the parents at ease about what's the process going to be like, how is it going to happen. You can have an assortment of Band-Aids and say to the kids, do you want the Star Wars Band-Aid or the Disney Princess Band-Aid or the Minions Band-Aid, right? So you can build a lot of little pieces in that take their focus away from the negative and put it on other things that make that experience a more positive experience.
So Helen, I mean, you're referencing it's not always high tech, technology that's going to solve for it. You've had several speakers here at your summit talking about design thinking and really putting that empathetic position first, where if you think that way, everything else just kind of follows, doesn't it? So
That's
giving
exactly
that
right.
patient control back in an otherwise kind of scary situation goes
right.
a long way.
That's right.
All right, so not always fun, but certainly human. So,
can make it better.
All right, well, Helen, thank you so much for your
My pleasure.
time.
Thanks for having me.
We loved having you here. We'll have you back again, I promise.
Okay, great.
Joining us here in the Guidewell Insights Lounge. My name is Kate Warnock. Thank you so much for watching.